I get it. You operate a business in the horse industry and you know you need to be online to grow your business, but you're overwhelmed at the process and you might not even have an idea where to start. Well, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're listening to the Digital Hoofprint Podcast, a podcast that shares strategy, resources, and motivation for you to grow your horse business online. My name is Abriana, and I am a business coach, brand strategist, and designer that works with equine entrepreneurs who are struggling with their online presence. I transform grade horse businesses into industry unicorns. And if you're listening to this podcast, you must be ready to establish your digital hoofprint. So, whether you're listening to this while cleaning stalls or after a long day working horses, I'm breaking down this process into digestible nuggets so you can take them and apply them to your business today. Thanks so much for listening again, and let's get into today's episode. Hey there, and welcome back to the Digital Hoofprint Podcast. I am so happy to be doing this episode today because this is something that I have had to navigate for myself and my business over the last 6 months. And I just wanted to record an episode and talk about finding your stride online. I know that when we're working with horses, we're all super unique. Every horse is unique. And when it comes to training and working with them, we have to kind of figure out what their stride is and how they can perform at their best. And it is no different when we are looking at ourselves and looking at our business and figuring out how we can show up as our best selves online as well. So, I wanted to do this episode to just talk about some of the things that happen when you don't have your stride, and when you don't know what your stride should be, and when you are trying to mimic someone else's stride, just how things just simply do not work for you. So, I want to hear from you. I want to know, head over to social media and let me know how you were able to find your stride in the online space. And if you are still having trouble with it, let me know that too. Leave a comment so we can definitely discuss and get you some help, the help that you need. So, what does finding your stride truly mean? And to me, it means that when you are online and you are in the digital space, whether it be social media or on your website or anywhere you show up in the interwebs, you are able to show up with a unique area of expertise that allows you to make an impact through providing value, being consistent, and connecting with your audience. So, whether that comes in the form of a video online, an IGTV video, or a blog post, or maybe even just a picture on social media. How do you provide your expertise or show your expertise by providing value, being consistent, and connecting with your audience? Now, I know a lot of times it's hard for us to recognize, if we have not actually found our stride. So, what does it look like when you don't have your stride? If you don't provide these things, this value, this consistency, and this connection, what does that actually look like? When you haven't found your stride, you are sporadic when you post, whether it be on social media or your blog post. There's no consistency in when you show up. You aren't sure what to say. And a lot of times you're not consistent because you don't know what to say. So, if you have found your stride, you would feel confident in what you say and how you say it. But when you simply aren't sure, you don't show up, and you definitely don't do it in a way that provides value. When you haven't found your stride online, you don't see very much engagement in your posts. And there's many reasons that can be. It can be because you're not providing that value, or your people don't know where to find you, or you're showing up in places where they are not. If you're yelling in the middle of the woods. What do they say? That quote, if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? If you drop some posts on a platform where your audience is not, have you even made a sound? That is the question. When you haven't found your stride, you simply have not incorporated any sort of like social strategy into your business model. And I know that it feels like it's just one more thing, but what if that one thing can bring you your next client? A lot of times people are trying to figure out what the highest return on investment is. And honestly, I think we can all agree that the horse industry is about 10 to 15 years behind maximizing that ROI for the digital spaces. So you can literally be ahead of the curve by going out there and doing going that extra mile to figure out what your stride will be and how you can provide those three things to people so that they know you, they'll like you, and they'll trust you enough to do business with you. When you have not found your stride, you are easily frustrated. I know that some of us have been on horses where we are trying to get this certain response from them, and they're like, no, like, that's not what I want to do. Whether it comes in a form of confusion or, they're doing things that they think you want and it's just simply not it. There is an element of frustration, but we have to take a step back and say, okay, I am frustrated. Why? It's because I don't know what to say, so I can't be consistent. And I don't feel like I should be consistent because no one's interacting with my posts, no one's engaging. And it's all a vicious cycle. Honestly, it's all a vicious cycle. And we can actually do something to stop that. Like let's stop this cycle right now. Let's nip it in the bud so that you don't feel this way, and your clients will gain value from you showing up and finding your stride in your online space. Everybody has their own lane. It is up to you to find yours. Now, what does it look like when you do find your stride? We kind of painted the picture of simply, frustration, confusion, and feeling like you're that tree that has fallen in the woods and there's no one else there. So let's paint the picture of what it looks like when you do. I know that we have all watched horse racing, and in the beginning of the race, I mean, everybody's going fast, right? Everybody's going fast. Most of them, anyway. The ones that the camera is on, they are going fast. But we all know when they get into that final turn and they go on the straight, what happens? What happens? They change strides. They go all out. They are in the final, haul. I mean, they're gone. They are lengthening their stride. The jockeys are like doing their thing up there, and you can tell a difference in their cadence and the drive and the push that they're putting into their performance. So that's, if you need something to visualize the change, that's it. You can be going, you could be present in the race, but you can also not be winning it, right? But when you kind of change that, once you position yourself and you see the goal, or the final stretch, you know, you're almost there, you're at the end, the finish line, then you will be able to put that stride to work. You will be able to kick it up a notch. You'll go into second, third gear and really, really get going. So when you find your stride, you understand that you can incorporate your digital strategy into your daily or weekly operations of your business. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't know what to post," or "I don't know, you know, I don't have any good pictures," or "I have to set up a photographer." No, you don't have to do all of that. Let's not make a mountain out of a molehill. If you are in your business in a daily capacity, especially if you are working with clients, you can capture photos of your client work. If you're taking lessons, you have a photo release for people taking lessons, you can capture that. You can have someone else capture your instruction. If you are in a brick and mortar and you are, you know, selling tack, you can capture your day-to-day life in your store. You can capture new products. You can capture sales. You know, there is a plethora of content. You just have to change your mindset and say, okay, let me just snap a quick picture of this. Whether you post it now or not is, you know, a moot point. But you can capture these moments in your day-to-day life and incorporate them into your online strategy. And that allows people to get closer to you and actually know what's going on in your business. When you find your stride, you'll be able to show up for your audience consistently because you know what they like. You'll draw attention to your business online because people will share your stuff. They'll enjoy it. They'll engage with you because they're interested in it. You know, if you say are a equine massage therapist and you have an interesting case, you can share that. And people will say, "Oh my gosh, I had a horse like that before," or "I know a friend that had a horse like that." You will be able to use that content from your day to day life to show up online and actually connect with people. You will be able to find your herd. You know, there'll be like minded people, whether you're in Facebook groups or just sending people to your pages and connecting with them there. You'll be able to find that crux of people that you will be able to engage with and capitalize on. You know, what we do, we want to build a community around this business that we are so passionate about. So it's important for us to show up and provide that extra value for them so that when we need to make a sale or we need to, you know, push this promotion or we have a giveaway or we need to do a survey to get some feedback, we have a community that we can tap into that will give honest feedback and support us where we need it the most. So I want to make sure that you understand the difference between the two. You know, when you haven't found your stride and you just are, you know, frolicking in these digital media spaces, you're confused. You simply just don't know what to say, where to say it, how to say it, and it is counterintuitive. This is not a place that we want to be when we're trying to run our business. You know, running the business is already hard enough. We don't need to overcomplicate things when it comes to showing up online. Hey, y'all, I wanted to interrupt this episode for just 1 minute to tell you about this workbook that I put together to help you with finding your stride online. I know we're talking a lot about what to say, when to say it, where to say it. So I put together kind of a light version of the process that I use when I am trying to push content online. So The workbook is called Content That Spurs. Content that spurs your audience into action. You know, it takes strategy, purpose. You have to provide a unique value. You can repurpose and repeat the content and then summarize and see where it is that you perform the best. So, if you want to get this workbook and figure out how you can produce things that gets your audience excited, head over to my website, blackunicorncreative.com/spurs, and you can download that workbook and create content for yourself. Super excited about it. Let me know what you think. Let me know how it's helped. And now we'll get back to this episode. When you find your stride, you have that confidence. You see the goal. You see that finish line. You have your sight set on that, and you are able to stride out and push yourself to show up and give it your all. And honestly, that is what gets you the best return on investment. A lot of times people look at these platforms and these programs and they're like, oh, I need to know the biggest ROI. But if they are showing up halfway in the first place, you know, then they're already setting themselves back. You know, they're looking for this return on investment, but aren't really giving 100% in the investment. So when you find your stride, you know, it truly is about giving 100%. If you could give 100% for 3 months, showing up online and making sure that your digital hoofprint is optimized, I guarantee you will see an influx of results. Honestly, if you do that for 6 months, 9 months, a year, like, you will see so much tremendous growth in your business that will reflect. You know, a lot of people think that this online thing is detached from their actual day-to-day life, and that line of thinking is what makes it not a priority. But if you connect these two things, showing up online, you will have such an influx of clients, of inquiries in your business that you will be able to see the return on investment. So, hey, Abriana, how do we find our stride? Like, this all sounds good. I understand, you know, I feel confused right now, but I want to feel confident and I want to feel like I'm connecting with the community that I'm building around my brand. So how do I do that? You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. So, first of all, when let's talk about social media specifically right here. You need to ask yourself some good questions, okay? You need to be pretty honest with yourself because we don't want to formulate this plan and you're like, I can't really even commit to that. Okay. So we need to be honest. So let's put our honesty hat on and then we can move forward. Okay. So ask yourself, how often can you show up without it being overwhelming? How many times a week, you know, do you think you can post without being overwhelmed? Now, if you answer this honestly and your answer is like one, then we need to back up a little bit, okay? You're not ready yet, okay? There's no rhyme or reason to making one post a week and thinking that you're going to grow your online community that way. It simply is not how it works. So ask yourself, you know, what do I need to move around? What do I need to change in my day to day so that I can show up more for this community that I'm trying to build? Ask yourself that. If you think you can only post once a week, twice a week, you know, figure out what it is that you can move around in your life so that you can do this and at least commit to it for 60, 90 days, you know. Then ask yourself what type of content works best for you. So for me, I enjoy being on video. I enjoy recording video. I enjoy that whole process, but a lot of people don't enjoy it. So do what you can do. Do what works best for you. If you can take a video of a lesson, do that. If you like talking about concepts like for massage therapy or something, if you like talking about the biomechanics of the horse and things like that, record some talks of yourself and share that information with your audience, and that'll increase your authority figure, you know, your authority in the industry. People will be able to see that you know exactly what you are talking about. If you know, give lessons, you know, set up a tripod and record the lesson so you can show your teaching style and how you communicate and how you get results in your students. And that will encourage people to, or encourage people who resonate with that kind of approach to contact you and reach out to you and connect with you online. So if you can post videos or photos, or if you are a writer, if you like to write more than you like to be on camera, then write about it. You know, just set some time aside that you can write about what it is that is, you know, a super important part of your business, and publish those blog posts and get people to share and you know, start a conversation about that or around that. And then you can next ask yourself, how do you repurpose this content? You know, I know that's just slightly advanced for some people, but honestly, if I am going to post something, I am at least going to share it like at least 3 times. And I'm going to share it in so many different ways so that someone, anyone, anywhere will be able to at least see it and gain something from it. So, say this podcast episode, I could share this and make it some captions and throw a graphic to go with it, you know, which you will be able to see when I do that, okay? So, there's so many ways that you can just share what it is that you want to share. And then instead of having to recreate something or think of something new every single week or every single day, you can just share what you already have and just share it in different ways. So if you have a long video that you want to share, break it up into clips and talk about each section. You know, post it and post a little caption about what is actually going on. If you have a lesson that you record and the student is going at the walk, at the trot, at the canter, that's 3 videos right there. That's 3 different clips, and you can talk about the thought process in the rider and the thought process as the trainer on the ground, and how you're trying to communicate different changes and effects to that rider. You know, it's all about working smarter, not harder. And when people get overwhelmed, it's because they think they have to come up with all of this novel information every single day or every single week. And that's what they think they don't have time for. So ask yourself those things. Be honest. You know, how often can you show up? What type of media works best for you? And how can you repurpose that so you don't have to come up with something every single day? Last question that I always include, because running a business is hard. A lot of us are doing it by ourselves, but a lot of us could really benefit from having a team and just having some help, honestly. So, last question that you need to ask yourself is this something that I can manage on my own, or do I need to outsource or delegate this to someone else? If you don't care about doing this, if this is, you know, every time you look at it, you feel disgusted. You're like, I don't want to be on the internet. I don't want to do this. I am terrified of showing up on social media, but I know my business needs to grow. And that's one way that I can make that growth exponentially. But I hate it. You know, if that is you, maybe you need to outsource. Maybe you need to find a social media manager. Maybe you need to hire someone to help you with that. Because the last thing that we want is for you to show up and to be completely, taken aback and just not genuine in your approach. And we've all seen those kind of people out there who just simply are not, they when they show up online, they are not positive. They, are complaining all the time, and they just don't seem genuinely happy. And so if you feel like that is going to be how you show up, then you need to find someone else to help you with that, so that your business will still have that growth, but you will still be able to provide that value, be consistent, and connect with your audience. So let me know what you think. How have you been able to find your stride in the online space, whether it be social media or getting leads on your website? How have you been able to find your stride? And if you haven't been able to, what are you currently struggling with? Is it social media itself? Is it trying to get people to your website and, getting people on the phone from there? What is it that you are struggling with the most, and how do you think you can overcome that? Let me know in the comments. Take a screenshot of this podcast episode and let me know what you think. You can post it on social media, tag me, use the hashtag digital hoofprint, and let me know what it is that you are struggling with the most, or how you have been able to find your stride in the online space. Now, you know, I'm all about providing strategy, providing resources, and providing motivation, right? So I have created a template for you to help you with this content creation. I know a lot of times it's hard for people to conceptualize how this is supposed to look, what thought process they're supposed to go through when they are looking to post stuff online. And granted, not everything needs to be a think piece. Not, you can post, the dog that came into your shop that day, and it not have any sort of agenda. But when you are looking to, really provide value and do it consistently to connect with your online community, there is a little bit of thought that you need to put into what it is that you are posting. So I created a template. You can click the show notes, go in the show notes and click the link there. It's called the Spurs template, for content that spurs. And you will see on the template what exactly everything that it entails. But content that spurs is like my brainchild, okay? SPURS is an acronym. It stands for strategy, purpose, unique value, repurpose and repeat, and summarize. And that is truly how I've been able to grow some of the social media platforms that I deal with exponentially. It is so much better when you're able to kind of look at what it is that you are trying to achieve with this content and say, okay, this is great. This is what works. I'm only going to do what works. So that's how you stop being overwhelmed at this process. So click the link in the show notes, download the Spurs template, and let me know if that helps you in your digital hoofprint journey. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to leave a review on Apple Podcasts. And I hope that this episode has helped you find your stride on the internet. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys in the next episode.